Ready, start. From the principle laid down by this court, the circumstance of last seen together would normally be taken into consideration for finding the accused guilty of the offence charged with when it is established by the prosecution that the time gap between the point of time when the accused and the deceased were found together alive and when the deceased was found dead is so small that possibility of any other person being with the deceased could completely be ruled out. Full stop. The time gap between the accused persons seen in the company of the deceased and the detection of the crime would be a material consideration for appreciation of the evidence and placing reliance on it as a circumstance against the accused. Full stop. But, in all the cases, it cannot be said that the evidence of last seen together is to be rejected merely because the time gap between the accused persons and the deceased last seen together and the crime coming to light is after within bracket sick of bracket close a considerable long duration. Full stop. There can be no fixed or straitjacket formula for the duration of time gap in this regard, and it would depend upon the evidence led by the prosecution to remove the possibility of any other person meeting the deceased in the intervening period, that is to say, if the prosecution is able to lead such an evidence that likelihood of any person other than the accused, being the author of the crime, becomes impossible, then the evidence of circumstance of last seen together, although there is long duration of time, can be considered as one of the circumstances in the chain of circumstances to prove the guilt against such accused persons. Full stop. Hence, if the prosecution proves that in the light of the facts and circumstances of the case, there was no possibility of any other person meeting or approaching the deceased at the place of incident or before the commission of the crime, in the intervening period, the proof of last seen together would be relevant evidence. Full stop. For instance, if it can be demonstrated by showing that the accused persons were in exclusive possession of the place where the incident occurred or where they were last seen together with the deceased, and there was no possibility of any intrusion to that place by any third party, then a relatively wider time gap would not affect the prosecution case. Full stop. The overzealous efforts made by the prosecution to link the handkerchief allegedly found near the body of the deceased to the appellant lends support to the argument of the learned counsel for the appellant that the police had fabricated the case to implicate the appellant. Full stop. In his statement, PW7 admitted that he was not selling branded handkerchiefs and that there were no particular marks on the goods sold by him. Full stop. He, however, recognized the handkerchief by saying that the accused made a lot of bargaining and he was amused by the latter's statement that he will soon become an actor. Full stop.